Hello everyone, my name is K. Haitham, working as assistant professor in St. Martin Engineering College of a department Electrical and Electronic Engineering. Here we are going to discuss about the topic synchronous generator. So before going to discuss our topic, I need to discuss about the basic information about the machines. So what are the machines means? In detail we are going to discuss about the machines. The machines is nothing but it is going to convert the one form of energy into the another form of energy. How it is going to convert the one form of energy into another form of energy means by using the converter. The converter is a one device which is going to convert the electrical energy into the mechanical energy. Such a type of devices you are going to call as a electrical machines. So now you are going to represent the diagrammatically. So this is a diagram here. We are going to have the electrical system which is going to produce electricity, and this is nothing but electrical machine. We are using the converter in the middle of the machine, and we are using the mechanical system. The mechanical system which is going to produce the mechanical output. So I am going to give the input as a voltage and current to the my mechanical machines. So you are going to produce, the energy is going to flow in this direction, and it is going to produce a torque and the efficiency. So yeah, that means the electrical energy is converted into the mechanical energy. So it is act as a motor. Now come to the, when I'm going to give the mechanical input to my machine, that means I'm going to provide the torque and efficiency for speed for my motor. So automatically it is going to generate the electrical system. That is, it is going to produce the electrical system. So the energy is flowing in this direction. It acts as a generator. Now we are going to discuss the process of translating energy from one form to another form. This process we are going to call as a electrical mechanical energy conversion. If the conversion is done from the mechanical to electrical, this it's said to be a generator. The machine is act as a generator. Now if your conversion is done from the electrical to mechanical, this system is said to be, our machine is said to be act as a motor. Is going to act as a motor. Now we are going to discuss, now if the converters is moved, if the converter is playing, if the converter is moves in a, if a conductor is moves in a magnetic field, it causes a magnetic flux, it is going to cut the magnetic flux, then it is act as a generator. When I'm going to place a current carrying conductor, the current carrying conductor in a magnetic field, it experiences some force. That force you are going to call as a mechanical output. That means it acts as a motor. So now you are going to discuss, this is nothing but the stator, this is nothing but staff and a rotor, and we have the hen house conductor base. Now going to in detail about the construction of the machine. The construction of the machine will be all for all the machines, whether it's a AC machine or a DC machine. The construction will be same for all the type of machine, whether it's a AC or DC machine. So now in detail we are going to discuss about the parts of the machine. We have yoke and pole shoes and pole core, armature core or armature winding, commutator, brushes and brush holders and bearing and staff. Now you see here, this is nothing but my machine. In this machine we have the core. The core is the outer part of the machine, and this is nothing but the terminal box where you are going to get the three-phase supply for your machine, and this is nothing but the pole and field winding and armature core, armature conductors, and this is nothing but brushes, and this is nothing but the commutator. Now in details we are going to discuss about each part of your machine. The core is nothing but the outer part of the machine which is going to produce a mechanical support for your machine, which is going to provide the mechanical support for the core or pole core or pole shoes. Now you are going to discuss about the pole core or pole shoes. The pole core is nothing but electromagnet. It is going to produce a magnetic flux in a conductor. It is going to produce a magnetic flux, so that it is going to produce a magnetic flux. The construction of pole is going to use a silicon steel, which is going to use for the eddy losses of, it is going to reduce the eddy current losses in your conductor. At the same time, for the pole shoes, the pole shoes is the main functioning is going to spread the magnetic flux produced by the magnetic core uniformly over the armature. Now you are having the field winding. The field winding is placed on the core, is going to place on the core, and it is going to get a DC supply from your T-terminal box. It acts as an electromagnet, so that it is going to produce a electromagnetic field on a air gap on armature core. Due to the current flowing in a conductor, the field winding is alternates the north pole and south pole. When the current going to flow, when the current is produced in a field winding, automatically the poles will be started rotating, so that it is going to act as a north pole and south pole. When north pole is going to repulse, then the south pole is going to repulse. When the north pole, south pole is going, then the flux will be attracts. So this is nothing but the pole, this is nothing but the pole shoes, and this is nothing but your yoke. The yoke is nothing but the this is nothing but outer part. Here we have a T terminus is placed on the outer parts of the yoke, and here it's nothing but the flame. Here it is nothing but feed, and this is nothing but the pore, core and pore shoes. This is nothing but pore which is laminated. Why we are using the laminated means we are going to reduce the losses in a machine. The power losses or the eddy current losses you want to reduce eddy current losses or power losses, that will be done by the laminated core. And come for the laminated shoes. The laminated shoes also going to use to get reduce the losses in a pore. And this is nothing but the field winding. The field winding is placed on the pore. Is going to place on the pole, and it is going to be laminated. When the pole is started rotating, it is going to act as a north pole and south pole. Next, come to the next point. So here we are having the armature winding. The armature winding is nothing but a cylindrical drum mounted on the staff. The construction of the armature winding is rotated using the primary move, so that it is going to cause a magnetic flux. At the same time, the induced EMF is produced in the coil. Now, what is a commutator? The commutator, main functioning of the commutator is nothing but it is going to convert the AC or AC generator to DC generator or DC generator to AC. So, we are going to use a DC generator as a rectifier and DC motor as a inverter. And now come for the brushes. Whatever the current we produce in a commutator, that current will be collected from the brushes and it is going to supply to the external in a generator, external load to the generator. So vice versa of your motor. See here, this is nothing but the armature winding. The armature winding is laminated. Here we have slots. In between of a slot we have a armature. In between we have armature slots, so that we are having the teeth the way you are going to use. Now this is nothing but the commutator. We are going to have the commutator copper here, which is insulated here, so that the commutator is going to convert the one form of energy to another form of energy. And this is nothing but the brushes. This is nothing but the brushes. The brushes are going to collect the current from the commutator. Next, we are going to discuss about the AC machine. So our topic starts from now here. The AC machine is nothing but we have AC, alternate current is going to produce in a machines. We are going to produce alternate current. We have two types of AC machine versus a synchronous machine versus an asynchronous machine. What is a synchronous machine? The synchronous machine is nothing but it is the synchronous speed is equal to the rotor speed, whereas asynchronous machine is nothing but the rotor speed is not equal. The rotor speed is not equal to the asynchronous. Rotor speed is not equal to synchronous speed. Now you are going to have them two types in a machine. One is a synchronous generator and synchronous motor, and induction generator and induction motor. Now you have the definition. Of the synchronous. So what is a synchronous definition? The synchronous definition is nothing but the synchronous generator is also going to call as an alternator generator. It is an electrical device which is going to convert the mechanical energy into the alternator current generator as an electrical power. Now the term synchronous refers to the rotating field, the rotating speed of the rotor. It is rotating speed of the rotor with synchronized with the frequency of the AC output. Now come to your picture. This is the picture of your synchronous. This is a picture of the synchronous here. The synchronous is nothing but here we have three-phase supply. The three-phase supply is connected to the terminal box. I'm going to give the three-phase. This three-phase may be a delta connection or a star connection, which we are going to be as per the convenience we are using here. So it is nothing but the three-phase supply. From the three-phase supply, you are going to give the connection, that is a star or delta, and this is nothing but the rotor. The rotor is nothing but outer face of the rotor, and we have the three-phase winding here. So from we are getting the three-phase supply. From the three-phase supply, you are going to get the three-phase winding in here. So this is nothing but your rotor. Now come for the types of the synchronous generator. The synchronous generator is mainly on the types. It is mainly on the arrangement of the field winding and armature winding. It is mainly based on the field winding and armature windings. The synchronous may be classified into two types. One is a stationary armature with a field rotating above the 5 kVA, and one more is a stationary field and the armature. Mostly I am going to use the first one, which is nothing but the stationary armature and the rotor field winding. So in this we are going to discuss in detail about the parts. Now come to the construction of the synchronous generator. The synchronous generator has the two parts. One is a rotor and one is a stator. Then come to the stator, we have mainly three parts. One is a stator frame, one is a stator core, one is armature winding. So now here see the armature frame. The armature frame is nothing but the outer frame of the rotor, outer frame of the part, which is going to protect the device. At the same time, it is going to give the mechanical support for your armature core. So stator core. The stator core is nothing but it is a laminated steel silicon. It is nothing but the laminated steel silicon. And it is and it is the laminate is used to reduce the eddy current losses. It is mainly used for the hysteresis losses, and the stator consisted in a peripress. So the stator is slotted internally peripress. So these are the core. Stator core. The stator core mainly use a laminated steel, silicon steel. That is nothing but the laminations are used to reduce the eddy current losses, and silicon steel is used for the hysteresis losses. Because of by using this both, we are going to reduce the losses in the machines. At the same time, we are going to be we are going to have the internal slots. The internal slots are having the internal parapress. So now come for the construction. This is nothing but the construction. This is nothing but outer face. This is the base of your machine. This is nothing but a rotor. Now the rotor will be rotating. The rotor will be rotating. The rotor is rotating. I am going to give the three-phase supplier. This is nothing but armature conductor. So this is nothing but synchronous generator. Now come for the armature winding. The armature, where you are going to place the armature winding is based on the field winding of a stator core. So this is going to be in a star connection or delta connection of your connector. So the end windings, all the windings are connected to the terminal box from where you are going to get the supply for your motor, from where you are going to get the supply for your motor. Okay, so these windings are wounded on the poles. If you see here, these windings are wounded on the poles. So these wounded, all these are connected in a star or delta connection. So these all are connected to the one terminal box where you are getting the three-phase supply. From this supply, you are going to get the current is supplied and the magnetic field is going to produce. Next, we are going to discuss about the rotor. So rotors are mainly two types. Based on the construction, we have two types. One is a slant pole type, that is also going to call as a projector pole, and one more is a non-skein pole type. It is also going to call as a non-projector pole. The non-projector pole is also going to call as a smooth cylindrical type. So now I am going to discuss here. So this is nothing but the slant. This is nothing but non-slant. The slant having the rotor in the middle and which is going to get the DC supply. This is nothing but the slip rings, and this is nothing but the field winding, and this is nothing but your north pole and south pole. Here the field winding is wounded on the poles. When the rotor is going to start rotating, the flux will be going to produce here. And come to the non-slant. This is nothing but the slot where you are going to have the slot, and this is nothing but the DC supply is given, and this is nothing but the field winding. Next, you are going to discuss about the slant pole type, which is also going to call as a projector pole, So this is another name. It is also going to call as a projector pole. It is mounted on the large circular frame. It is going to mounted on the large circular frame, and it is made up of the thick steel lamination. The field windings, these all are the field windings. These field windings are connected in series to the DC supply, with the help of the slip rings. All the field windings. So this is nothing one field windings. All are field windings. All the field windings are connected in series. All the field windings are connected in series. To the end of this one, you are connected to the DC supply to the slip rings. And what are the features we are having here means it is having the long diameter, so that it have the less length. That means the actual length will be very less, so that will be not used for the high speed. It is used only for the medium and low speed only. And this the applications here we are using for the digital and hydro turbines. We are mainly used for the digital and hydro turbines. And here we are going to, the poles are laminated. All we discussed what the poles are laminated here. So what are the poles are laminated? Why you are using a poles laminated? Because to reduce the eddy current losses in a poles. That's why the poles are laminated, to reduce the eddy current losses as well as hysteresis losses in a circuit. It is mainly not used for the last bit. Okay. Now come for the non-slant type, non-slant pole type. The non-slant type pole is also going to call as a smooth cylindrical pole or a turbo alternator. So the main winding here, what are the field winding you are using? It is mainly used for the large high speed alternator, for the drive of the steam alternator. So mainly using this one. The main purpose of using the non-slant pole type is mainly used for the high speed alternator. To increase the speed, you are going to use the non-slant pit. So it is mainly used for the steam turbines. In a steam turbines, you are using this type of hose. And come further, it have the less diameter and the length will be very high, so that we can increase the speed of the motor. And the speed will be 1200 rpm to 1200 rpm to 3000 rpm. So it is mainly used for the balancing purpose. The operation will be a better, at the same time noiseless, and the flux will be generated will be a sine wave. Okay, now the frequency is here 50. The frequency will be here 50. So the frequency here 50. So now I can increase the speed, that is a 120 by f. Okay, so now based on, I can see this equation, by seeing this equation I can say that when the speed is increases, automatically the pose should be decreased. That means ns is inversely proportional to the 1 by p. Ns is inversely proportional to the 1 p. If I want to increase the speed, then the number of poles should be reduced. If you want to increase the pose, automatically the speed will be reduced. By seeing this equation, I can say that the synchronous speed will be depending upon the number of poles in a rotor. Okay, so now see, if I am using the 2, 4 and 6, then the speed will be 3000, 1500 and 1000. Okay, next we are going to discuss about the working principle of the synchronous generator. The synchronous generator is mainly applicable. It is applicable for all the generator. The principle is nothing but dynamically induced EMF. The main principle of a generator is nothing but Faraday's law of automatic induction. So what is Faraday's law? The Faraday's law is nothing but when the conductor is placed in, when the conductor causes a magnetic flux, in the induced EMF is produced in a conducting material. So at the same time, according to the Faraday's law of second law, the rate of change of induced flux is directly proportional to the flux induced in a conductor. Now we are discussing about the construction of the non-sliding float. So we are done with that. Now we are going to discuss about the working principle of the synchronous generator. So before discussing about working principle, so this is where we have the ns is nothing but 120 by f by p. If we want to increase the speed, then we have to reduce the number of poles in a rotor machine. If you want to increase the speed, then you want to reduce, and if you want to reduce the speed, then you want to increase the float. Okay, now come to the construction side of the non-sliding float. Here we have the mainly 3 parts. One is nothing but slot plate, one is nothing but damp bar, and one is nothing but wedge. If you see here picture, this picture is nothing but, it is in detail you are going to slow. It is in a cylindrical in shape. If you see this one, it is in cylindrical shape. The cylindrical shape, we have the DC current terminals where you are going to collect the DC current, and this is nothing but steel rings. This is nothing but the staff. The staff you are going to use to move the rotor very easily. Okay. Now what is a slot plate? The slot plate is nothing but it is used to maintain some space for the ventilation. So what is ventilation? The ventilation working is meant to reduce the heat in a motor. If you want to reduce the speed, when a motor start running fastly or continuously running for the long time, it is going to produce some heat. That heat will be existed, or that will be released by the ventilation speed. Now what is a damp bar? The damp bar is nothing but it is going to balance the rotor. It is going to balance the weight of the rotor. And nothing but what is a steel wedge? It is nothing but it is whatever the device, every device is there, the rotor steel will be maintained you are going to make a stiff of the assemble by using the wedges. These wedges are mainly used to maintain the stiffness of the assembled whatever the elements you are going to assemble in a rotor. Now we are going to discuss about the working principle of a synchronous generator. So already we discussed about the synchronous generator. Synchronous generator is nothing but the electrical device which is going to convert the mechanical energy into the electrical energy. Okay, so now we are going to give the mechanical input for our device, and it is going to convert the electrical energy. So the definition is nothing but we already discussed. So now what is the working principle? It is nothing but that it is dynamically induced the EMF in a conductor. So how it is going to induce? How you are going to produce induced in a motor means? So once you are going to the generator means by using the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. So what is meant by Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction means? It is nothing but when the conductor causes the magnetic flux, the induced EMF is produced in a conductor. So how the conductor is placed? So for example, I want to see here, this is nothing but a coil. This is nothing but the staff. The staff is placed in the middle. So I'm going to have the conductor coil. If you see here, it is clearly this is nothing but the conductor coil. It is started moving. When it is going to move, the flux are going to produce in the conductor. So the flux will be going to cut by the conductor. Then automatically the induced EMF is going to produce in a conductor. Okay. Now we are going to discuss according to Faraday's law of the induction, the change in the flux. The change in the flux, the induced EMF will be produced in a conductor. According to the Faraday's of second law, the rate of change of flux is directly proportional to the induced EMF in a conductor. If you go for the equation here, so according to the Faraday's law, the first law is nothing but here, F is equal to, so now E is equal to, it is induced EMF is E is equal to L into di by L is equal to di by flux. The E is directly proportional L into di by dt. The flux is directly proportional to the flux. So according to the second law, according to the first law of the Faraday's, the rate of change of induced EMF will produce the magnetic flux in a conductor. According to the Faraday's of second law, the induced EMF is directly proportional to the flux produced in a machine. Okay. So by using this equation, I can say according to the Lenz law. What is the Lenz law? The Lenz law is nothing but when the current induced in a flux, it causes only. That means E is directly proportional. Minus VB is nothing but E is nothing but minus of L d flux by dt. D flux by dt according to the Lenz law of the conductor. Okay. Next we are going to discuss about the about the working principle. So in that working principle, already we discussed where we having the working principle of the CC generator. Now we are going to discuss in detail about the construction. So about the construction we discussed. Apart from that, where we are having the now in detail how it is going to work, we are going to discuss in a generator. Here we are going to have working principle. See now. So now the rate of change of flux is produced is associated with the conductor. That means the relative motion is produced between the conductor as well as flux produced in a coil. That must be have the relative. That means Ns minus Nr or Ns equal to Nr. Then only you are going to have the relative motion between the flux as well as the conductor. That means you are going to have the conductor and relative motion. You are going to produce a relative motion. The relative motion can be obtained by the rotating conductor as well as the rotating flux. If you see here, this is nothing but South pole and North pole. We are having the coil here. This is nothing but the conducting coil. The conductor coil is rotating. At the same time, what happened? The flux will be going to be produced. So I am going to have the direction. So once the conductor is in a perpendicular, or when the conductor is in a perpendicular, for every perpendicular, the current direction will be inward and outward of the motor. Once it is in a perpendicular, every perpendicular direction, the direction of the current will be going to be changed. Okay. Next, we are going to discuss about the windings. So when the windings are energized, how the windings are energized from the DC supply. When we give the supply for the supply to the conductor, in a conductor the armature coil is produced. In the armature coil, the current is going to produce, so that the flux will be going to generate. So when the rotor windings have energized, when the rotor get supply from the DC supply, automatically it is going to have the north pole, south pole are developed on a rotor. Okay. Now the rotor is rotating. When the rotor is rotating in clockwise direction or by moving the primary. So primary mover is nothing but is easy to move. It is going to support to move the rotor in a clockwise direction or anti-clock direction. In both the direction you can move. So when the rotor is moving in anti-clock direction, the stator or armature conductors are cut by the magnetic flux of the rotor poles. That means the rotor, when the rotor started moving, in the rotor pole we have the flux are produced. These rotor poles are going to be cut the flux in a armature conductor. Okay. So that means the consequence of EMF is produced in armature at the same time due to the electromagnetic induction. So that the kind of flux will be going to produce due to the electromagnetic induction. So this is nothing but the Faraday's law. Based on the Faraday's law, when the conductor causes a magnetic flux in a magnetic field, the flux will be going to produce according to the electromagnetic induction. Now these induced EMF is sees how they are going to have based on the north pole and south pole. We already discussing now till now we are discussing when the north pole, south pole having the poles are going to attract and the flux will be going to cut. When when the same poles are there, then they are going to repulse. Similarly, the induced EMF is alternative. When the opposite of both the poles, then only the induced EMF is produced in a rotor. Okay, so that means the rotor is passing to the armature conductor. Now you are going to use the Fleming right hand rule. By using the Fleming right hand rule, we can discuss the working principle of the rotor. So we have the three fingers. One is a thumb, one is a middle finger, one is the index finger. The thumb indicates, so the displacement of these three fingers will be a 90 degrees based on the displacement of angle between these three positions, the current and field angle, and the current will be 90 degrees. So the thumb indicates the motion of the conductor, and the middle finger indicates the magnetic field, and the index finger indicates the induced current in a coil. So by saying this is the Fleming right hand rule, you can see here, this is nothing of Fleming right hand rule, this is nothing the motion, this is nothing but the magnetic field, and this is nothing but the current. So by using the Fleming left hand rule, we can discuss the direction of the motor, and by using the Fleming right hand rule, we can discuss about the conduction working principle of the generator. This is nothing but motor, magnetic field, and the current. Now you are going to discuss about the main principle of this one, so that the voltage is get generated in a coil where we having the alternate position. Okay, so now what is the magnetically induced means the momentum of the flux will be going to produce when the current cuts the flux in a conductor. So this is nothing but your coil, where you are going to it is going to be rotating, and this is nothing but your rotor. This is a armature coil is stationary here. This is nothing but rotating field. Okay. Now we are going to discuss the same thing you are going to discuss in the video. See, this is an alternator machine. This is nothing but the alternator machine. The alternator machine is nothing but the alternator is an electrical device. It converts the mechanical energy into electrical energy in the form of electrical energy, and electricity is produced alternator by using the flux. Okay, so we had the two types of the alternators. One is a rotating magnetic field with a stationary armature, rotating armature with a stationary magnetic field. Okay, next we are discussing about here it is a rotating, here it is going to be constant. Now come for the main parts of the alternator. This is a rotor, and this is a stator, and this is the outer frame of the cover. This is nothing but pull, and this is nothing but bearings, and this is nothing but a regulator. We have a strip rings here, and we have a DC regulator. Okay, now come for the working principle here. So when I am placing the current coil conductor, the coil conductor is going to be rotating. The flux will be going to produce in a conductor. So similarly, when the relative motion between these they are going to produce a flux. So similarly, I am going to take the basic four poles I am going to get. These 4 poles are going to get supplied to the conductor. I am going to give the DC supply for this one. Automatically it is going to place. Now this is going to placed on the pole. Now it is going to be rotating. So when it is going to produce, here the rotating magnetic field is going to produce. The rotating magnetic field is going to produce here. What will happen? Automatically the flux will be going to be induced. That means the induced EMF is going to produce in a conductor, the induced EMF. So now I am going to place the copper wire on the pole. That means armature conductor is going to place. The armature winding is placed on the machine. So this is nothing but poles. I am going to place the armature coil on the post. Now what happened? The current, I am going to give the supply. The supply is going to be produced here. Automatically the flux are going to produce. When it is every perpendicular, the current direction will be reduced. So for the single phase, you are going to have the single wave. The wave between the current or voltage with respect to the time. We have the single voltage. And this is nothing but the rotating, how the flux will be going to be rotated in a clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction with the north pole, south pole. The north pole are going to place. Now I am going to, if I am making a 3-phase supply, I am going to take the 3-phase supply, so that I am going to place a 3 copper conducting coils, so that the 3-phase supply is going to produce for the coil. Same way it is going to be produced here. So this is nothing but, so the connection we already discussed the 2 types of connection, that is a star connection or delta connection in a armature. So I'm going to use a star connection here. Based on the star connection, the rotor will be going to start. See here, this is structure of the star connection. This is one, this is R, and R phase, Y phase, and B phase. This is a step. The stepper is going to be rotated. Along the stepper, the rotor will be going to rotate. Once the rotor is going to rotate, the armature windings also will be going to produce. The flux will be going to produce, which is going to be out. Okay. If I'm going to 3-phase, then we have the equations for here. So this is nothing but R phase, Y phase, and B phase for your conductor. So this is nothing but the current will be lead, current will be lag, and fire will be fixed. This is nothing but your rotor. The rotor having the DC. Here we are using the DC generator, and this is nothing but a slip rings. If you are going to have the slip ring is going to produce a current and is going to be collect the current here. Okay. Here we are going to produce a current. We are going to produce a current. So this is nothing but the conductor is placed here. We are going to place a conductor here. The conductor is going to place so that the staff will be going to produce here. The staff is going to produce. So this is nothing but the DC supply is given. The DC generator is given. It is going to produce the conducting. Okay. So in this way you are going to have the machine. Okay. Now you are going to discuss the main keys of your main key point of your sub generator. So where we are using, how we are using, what are the main important points of your topic. Here we are discussing the last point is nothing but the number of conductors is very important in a coil. At the same time, the relative motion should be there between the coil and the conductor. Thank you.